All right, it's time to take a look at the papers now. Let's see what the headlines are in Nigeria and to make sense of some of the issues that will come up today on the headlines. We have lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun with us here in the studio, as well as strategy consultant Kenny Adenuba here in the studio. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you both.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Great. Now let's begin with the Daily Independent. Daily Independent says Nigeria on the verge of breakup. Abdulsalami Abubakar, former head of state, is revealing this, is saying this. Nigeria on the verge of breakup. Abdulsalami Abubakar is saying this. People with resources, influence, causing upheavals. The President Buhari is quoted as saying this and vows to identify, deal with them in due course. Okay, vows to identify and deal with them in due course. Leadership newspaper is next. Leadership newspaper. It says embers of anarchy, disintegration spreading fast. Abdulsalami is warning here. PMB, that's President Muhammad Buhari, vows to punish perpetrators of ethnic tension. And it has other riders there as headline. Embers of anarchy, disintegration spreading fast. And that's by Abdulsalami Abubakar, former head of state. Now, Blueprint newspaper is next. Blueprint says Nigeria in a state of fear. Abdulsalami is saying this. Wants governors to take responsibility, stop blame game, urges service chiefs to draw coordinated program. And the Nigeria Governors Forum, Lords Makinde pledges support for Shasha victims and people with resources, influence behind the violence. President Buhari is saying this. Okay, that's the Blueprint newspaper. Daily Times is next. Daily Times says stiffer penalties coming for illegal firearms possession. Stiffer penalties coming for illegal firearms possession. Right, that's Daily Times. That is Daily Times. Business Day veers into something else. How CBN's targeted financing is reviving Nigeria's ailing power sector. How CBN's targeted financing is reviving Nigeria's ailing power sector. Okay, Nigerians can't wait to have that power. From there, let's go to the national economy. National economy says 2.2 trillion naira import bill exposes Nigeria's low wheat production capacity. 2.2 trillion naira import bill exposes Nigeria's low wheat production capacity. That's national economy. Daily Sun. Daily Sun says, State of the Nation, Abdulsalami Abubakar gives damning verdict on Nigeria. Says anarchy, disintegration loom as country moves to point of no return. UK expresses concern over intercommunal violence. Act fast over rising tension. Northern Forum tells Buhari. Okay, still on the issues of security there. Okay. Daily Trust is next now. Daily Trust says, on a rising tension, Abdulsalami asks governors to resolve differences and take responsibility. Rich, influential people behind current crisis. Buhari is saying this. Shasha clashes, not tribal war. Governors are saying this. Arms proliferation behind Nigeria's security challenges. The Senate is saying this. Reps to liaise with NGF to address insecurity. Okay, and then you see the governors of the visiting governors to Oyo State, who eventually also governors paid a visit to Ogun State governor. You know, still trying to bridge, rub minds together on what to do about security. Now, the Punch newspaper is next. EFCC defends new chair as graft allegation surfaces. EFCC defends new chair as graft allegations surfaces. Shake-up looms in anti-graft commission as Buhari names Bawa new helmsman. White paper to determine suspended chairman Magu's fate, says the presidency. Okay, that's the Punch newspaper. We'll certainly be talking about this as we open discussion. And News Direct is next now. News Direct says Shasha crisis, governors forum will help rebuild markets. The governors are saying this. And Ibadan calm, crisis regrettable. That's the KB governor is saying this. Nigeria's unity beyond political party affiliations. Makinde is saying this as a governor for your state. Says Government will ensure peace returns to Shasha community in no time. Okay, that's the News Direct. Guardian newspaper is next. Crypto restriction opens Nigeria to fresh foreign scramble. More Nigerians sign up on trading platforms. Central banking outliving lifespan, says economists. And unmatched earnings driving popularity of investment. Okay, that's those are dynamics around the cryptocurrency. That's the Guardian newspaper. Vanguard is next now. Vanguard says, prove you don't support criminality. Southwest governors tell the federal government, prove that you don't support criminality. Say Sunday Igboho's a child of circumstance. It's a bold statement. Afenifere is saying this. And investigate Shasha violence. Reps tell IGP. Makinde gives conditions to reopen market. Sports minister calls for peaceful coexistence. All that on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The Nation newspaper is next. Notes governors rule out ethnicity in Ibadan mayhem. Notes governors rule out ethnicity in Ibadan mayhem. Market leadership tussle behind the conflict. Okay, all that on the front page of the Nation newspaper. From there, let's go to. Okay, I think that's what we have right now. That's the paper review we have this morning now. Okay, before we go into the issue of gentlemen, before we go into the issue of the statement by Abdusalami Abubakar on the state of insecurity in the country, I'd like us to touch a little bit on the story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. EFCC defends new chair as graft allegation surfaces. Recall that today, President Muhammadu Buhari has nominated Abdurrashid Bawa to face the Senate, and then, had written to the Senate to confirm Abdurrashid Bawa as the new EFCC chairman, and he faces the Senate today. Right. One thing going for if you look at his resume, he's quite rich as a young man, and he has traveled the world, trained at different places by different agencies across the world, and looking at things from that perspective, one would say, of course, he has what it takes. And then, as a very young youth as well, in about 40 years. Well, let me start with you, Jide. A new EFCC chairman in the offing. What do you make of this?
It's a fantastic one, and like you said, he has a very robust resume. Yeah. But we need to focus on the mandate of the EFCC. The EFCC was prompted in year 2003 by the Financial Action Task Force, which is a global body set up in 1989, claiming that Nigeria is one of the 23 countries, making it difficult for prevention of money laundering across the world. So we now had the EFCC Act of 2004, and over the years it's been a mixture of brilliant performance and allegations of corruption. And the most recent is the one of Magu, who has been disgraced out of office with several allegations. And many are concerned that despite the fact that there are allegations against Magu, what have we done? Is he being prosecuted, or is just being eased aside? And now a new chief is coming in who himself is already coming in with cobwebs of allegations. And it's quite disturbing if you package all this and benchmark it with the reputation and the image of the country. Because what the Financial Action Task Force is out to achieve, there are just two major pillars globally, which is peace and prosperity. So can we claim that between 2003, when we prompted EFCC in Nigeria, that we have been able to achieve peace and prosperity for the country? And most recently, the relevance of some of these agencies came to test in line with the massive insecurity in the country. In the UAE, that is not even the center of Boko Haram operations, 6 financiers of Boko Haram terrorism were prosecuted and jailed. And yet, in Nigeria, I doubt if I have read or heard about investigating anyone for sponsoring Boko Haram. Who received the money in Nigeria? In fact, there was a time a former deputy governor of CBN made allegations that one of the top flying personalities in Nigeria is a big sponsor of Boko Haram. You saw what happened to him, the DSS harassment and everything. So by and large, to conclude on this aspect, I think we have not benefited so much as an institution.
All right.
With the mandate of EFCC. So the new person coming in, it may be like asking the question, when Idris handed over to the extended new IGP, the extended IGP, what have we witnessed in terms of security in the land? Since the new army chiefs, the new service chiefs came in, though yet to be confirmed by the Senate, have we witnessed any drastic transformation?
All right.
So these are the big
Let me
questions
bring
for me.
Kenny in here. Kenny, I wonder what you envisage. I wonder what you see going forward from your analysis in the EFCC as a young man comes on board on the helm of affairs.
Thank you. I've gone through a number of things about Abdul Rashid Bawa. Like Barrister said, he's coming with some impressive CV. Being in the course one of the EFCC, the financial investigation team. However, if you come in and right at the mention of your name, some things begin to come up. It's a cause for concern, number one. And you immediately just see the EFCC spokesperson coming out with a debunking of the allegations, so to say. Naturally, there are bound to be, allegations, and then people trying to absolve one personality or the other, which is normal. We've seen it over and over again. As it were for me, looking at this, the same trucks matter, 244 trucks matter, was also raised with Magu at the Salami panel. And that becomes an issue. And then, of course, people can now begin to also talk about political coloration to that allegation. One, he's coming in, he wasn't part of the police officers that went in. In fact, most of them were reporting to the police officers, as it were. And now he's also reporting directly to the current acting chairman, who is the head of the operations. Now, the question to then ask is, when he takes over, all the senior people, naturally,
they may have to go.
And most of them will probably go back into the force. Because if you look at his level, if you get into the police force, his level is like the level of a DPO. Actually, that's been said. So how do you expect an ACP or a DCP to then say that they're going to be reporting to somebody who is perhaps junior? I mean, it's a natural thing within the military and paramilitary environment. Once you have someone who is...
So the regimented system.
Yeah, once you have somebody who is taking over and is actually younger or lower in rank, all of you that are above him has to be relieved. Either you go or you're redeployed. So that has implications. And of course, some of the things that we're seeing also could be behind the scene manipulations. So whichever way it is, I sincerely don't see much difference going forward, because we've run this mill over and over again. Within the military environment, we've seen it happen. Within the police environment, we've seen it happen. There was a time here when it was, the IGP matter, and then the IGP was changed, and then you have this. And for few years, we were shouting and crying about the service chiefs. And now the service chiefs are out on fantastic retirement package. And now, which also now confers another set of things on them, which is ambassadorial nominations. I mean, it's quite, I wonder the kind of country we are. We are along the line, we sometimes even reward seeming and flagrant, I don't want to say use the word incompetence, but not lackluster kind of delivery. Okay. So now we have that. So I don't see anything out of the ordinary going forward, even with this person. If you want to say, because he's young, the question to ask is, all this not too young to run, and young people and whatever. We've had people who were under 40 when they took power, either as governors, either as whatever, and we've seen what they've done, nothing different. So that he's 40 and is coming to that office doesn't change anything. He's been part of that system for 15 years, we should not forget, from 2005. And whichever way it is, the vicissitudes of life and experiences and whatever are all already there. So for me, it's still the same kind of thing. It may come with some brilliance, measure of brilliance along the line, but you know, time actually tells a whole lot of stuff for me. I've seen enough when it comes to people coming up and everybody being hopeful that something is going to give, something is going to be
and
different.
Eventually,
and
nothing
eventually you
happens.
just, so I'm a bit checkered in my optimism in this matter. To say, you know what, let's just watch. Don't let's go overboard rejoicing that one brilliant young man is taking over the EFCC. Because the truth of the matter is, it's all part of the system.
All right, Jide, from what Kenny has said, if it is something to go by, you're bringing a young officer up to the platform where he's going, that it means those who were ahead of him, one way or the other, have to give way. Is that a signal? Do you think that is a signal the president is sending to say that I want to get rid of all of these and bring up fresh people, bring up a fresh idea, bring up a fresh, you know, ideology and a strategy of fighting against corruption?
Perhaps, but if you go into content analysis and what we have experienced, it may not be in that direction. You know, I can let you know that when Ibe Kachuku became the Minister of State for Petroleum, we were all rejoicing, robust portfolio. There was a promise NNPC was going into electricity and different kinds of things. And you saw how the man exited, you know. So it's about what the government is willing to do. I can assure you there are brilliant Nigerians in government, but what is the vision of the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces? What does he want to achieve? And I think that goes a long way. And we've had some oil on the palms. The case of Magu is still there. If Magu has been removed from office, to a layman, don't let us be legalistic now, that means he has been found wanting in some areas. Are we saying we are going to cover that up? Really? And if an institution that is supposed to fight economic crimes and, you know, financial crimes is dressed in the robe of corruption, so to say, in quote, subject to the presumption of innocence, we are in trouble systemically.
We've always been.
In the country. So my big question, my challenge to the president is that, sir, what do you want to be remembered for? We've had too many of these things, too many of them. And if you look around the world, like I said, the goal of the government is to facilitate peace and prosperity. You know, in section 14, subsection 2 of Nigerian Constitution 1999 that has amended, it positions it as the security and the welfare of the people. How far have we gone? How has Switzerland achieved this? Iceland, Netherlands, you can mention countries of the world, all right? Recently, the UAE is in the mass already, joining China. So my concern is not about changing someone in office. And talking about the morale, you know, it happened in the army that about 127 young ones just eased themselves out after about 356 around July 2020 or so. So are you here to destabilize, to shake up, to, you know, I don't know. But then the essence of succession is to enhance the fortunes of what is delivered unto you. And I don't want to join issues with those who are arguing about whalers and hailers. The big question to ask is that, is Nigeria better today? Economically, because there were 3 basic promises towards the 2015 election. To fight corruption, how far have we gone in fighting corruption? To revive the economy, how far have we gone if we are the capital of the poverty in the world now? And of course, the third one is to bring in security. And if today, the likes of General Abdulsalam retired, who was head of state himself at the time, Sultan of Sokoto, people are screaming that Nigeria is disintegrating, then you need to go to the boardroom and carry out what we call returns on investment and ask the question, how far? So my message to my president is that, sir, you have the brilliant opportunity to reposition your governance reputation right now. It's not really about who is there, but the performance. Is it performance you want or controversy?
Okay. Well, the issue of personalities changing, from the office, one person is leaving, the other person is coming in. It means a lot to Nigerians. Now, to some extent, that shouldn't matter because, like Jide said, it's about the work. But recall that when the service chiefs, a lot of persons were saying we need to change the service chiefs, that has to change, we need fresh blood, we need fresh people, fresh ideas and all of that. We have the same thing now in EFCC. Should we not be a little optimistic that maybe there must be something new this person is bringing on the table?
Well, just like Jere said, you've got to look at a lot of things and tell yourself, everything falls and rises with the presidency, particularly the commander-in-chief. However, how well has he given the right direction as to what he wants? Because if people don't know what he wants, other people will create something for them. Now, it was talking about the Magu's prosecution or whatever you want to do with Magu. And it's been said, there's a white paper that's been expected from the office of the SGF and the Attorney General. Now, that is something that we're being told to wait on. And for me, you're waiting on white paper for certain things that are seemingly glaring. It begs the question, and when is the white paper going to come out? How many people are going to see it? When is it going to be implemented? These are questions you want to ask. And in governance and leadership, you must actually be articulate to a point where people know where you want to go. If you don't set the vision. Now, I don't see this government with a vision that is clear as to this is what we want to achieve within this time frame. So for me, it's talking about who is coming in and who is not coming in. The fact remains that if the foundation is destroyed, there's nothing any other person can do. There's a foundation that is actually not together. Whether it's EFCC, yeah, we're talking about EFCC right now, but the fact remains that whether you change someone or the other, number one, the body itself is tarred. A body that's meant to actually clean you or clean the nation of corruption is already tarred with corruption. Beyond every single chairman that had sat in office had one issue or the other. And now, this last one was another story entirely, the Magu story.
But there's a failure to prosecute for the court, court to come out and say, actually, he's guilty of this and that and they all remain allegations.
So they all remain allegations, and then for the next 5-6 years, till the end of this administration, anyway, in the next 2-3 years, it probably will still remain allegations. We've seen it over, which is why I said, some of the things I see around is the fact that we beg the question a lot. And then we also wait. People will tell you, time will heal everything. People will soon forget. And how many things have we swept under the carpet? And the carpet is now so high that there's nothing
we can't walk on it anymore.
So for me, it's quite interesting. We're in an interesting time, actually. And that's why I said, for me, when it comes to governance, the president has a lot to do, and he has not proven that the legacy he wants to leave is being well monitored and managed. Okay. Unfortunately.
We have to leave it here now. Certainly, a lot of Nigerians are looking at these things the way you're putting it. A lot of Nigerians are watching and waiting to see what will happen and what will be different. What everybody wants, from the north to south, east to west, like he said, is security and welfare. There's nothing else. Absolutely. The mechanics of how it happens, that is not the concern of Nigerians. Nigerians, we are paying our taxes, and the Constitution has spelled out what governments should do. So go do your own while we do ours. Absolutely. All right, we have to leave it here now. Kenny Adenugba, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Jide Ologun, thank you for coming.
God bless Nigeria.
Amen.